everyone, what's up? I'm Christian, that's Corey, and we are Super Kamiguru 9000, and this is our review of the Naruto manga 678. So this week we get a dream world, we get Madara being betrayed, and we get to see all the villages all around the world are totally sucked up into this like tree wrapping jutsu, genjutsu thing.
Tree wrapping no jutsu. My big thing is, I was expecting to be really disappointed by this chapter because they were finally starting to do the anti-spirals super dream world where everybody's happy.
Yes.
And from what I've seen after this chapter, it seems like everybody's dream world just sort of consists of them either wanting to be in charge or wanting to get laid. And I mean, that's what everybody wants, right? Everybody wants to rule the world. And I thought it was going to be awful, but I did like that at least everybody got like their own panel, like they went by team. And one thing that I do think is kind of strange is how come only some characters get a dream world? How come only some of the Kages get showcased? It's only Gaara, the Mizukage, and Tsunade. Do Inoki and Raikage get no love this week? What's up with that? I want to see what's going on in their weird, freaky dream world. Can you just imagine Inoki imagining himself really, really tall? That would be hilarious, and they did nothing with that this week. But still, there were still a lot of other cool developments. Obviously, the Kaguya thing.
Yes, that's obviously the biggest thing. Madara gets betrayed by Black Zetsu, which supposedly Black Zetsu is no longer Madara's will, it's Kaguya's will. And all the black chakra seems to have been her plan all along, her Aizen.
Basically, yeah. It kind of makes sense because the black chakra itself sort of extends from the massive Geto Mazo statue, which is the original body of the Ten Tails, which is the Shinju, which is ultimately related to Kaguya herself. I just didn't expect this to happen because I always just sort of thought like the image of Kaguya and everything that they were using over the course of the last like week or so was just sort of to show that Madara is now on her level. But the fact that they finally done this, I can't help but get like vibes from like Final Fantasy and JRPG games where the big baddie reveals himself at the very end of the game, like in the final bit, and just sort of takes over the story. I'm not quite sure where it's going, but it was really shocking to see Madara have that hand just thrust through his body. And also the art style got really intense there too. It was like got really detailed, and there's like 13 panels on that one page, and there's a lot going on there. But the thing is, how you were saying you weren't expecting Kaguya to take over Madara and it was more like symbolism? I actually was expecting this to happen in some way, like either right as he succeeds casting the infinite Tsukiyomi no Jutsu, she was just going to take over his body because he absorbed the tree and everything. I thought that was just going to happen. I was surprised it was Black Zetsu, which was actually the vehicle to make it happen, but I kind of saw this coming. I like that Black Zetsu is sort of responsible because always in the back of my mind, I had always hoped that in some form or fashion, Zetsu was going to end up being like the real final villain of the series. We've said that since we saw him watching Naruto Sasuke fight at the Valley of the End. Exactly. I was like, there's something so mysterious about this creepy like Venus flytrap guy. And it wasn't all of Zetsu. It was Black Zetsu, which again is probably the will of Kaguya herself. Maybe this will be a way to bring her back into the forefront. I don't know if she's actually going to come back like in her actual traditional form that we saw, because at the end of the chapter, she, or the will of Kaguya, is literally like taking over Madara's body, and you can see like all the you can see all the branches like coming out all over his body, and it looks really detailed and creepy. And I like that you brought up the fact that when Black Zetsu impaled Madara, all the detail there was really well done. Like you could tell Madara was shocked, and this is great because this is a character that does need to be knocked down a peg, but it is kind of strange because this whole like final arc, it's been like Madara is the villain, Obito's the villain, Madara is the villain again, Black Zetsu is the will of Kaguya. It's just going into a lot of crazy directions. And the other thing that I liked about this week's chapter is how blunt Sasuke is at the beginning of the chapter, because we could have harped on that for almost the whole review. When I read it at first, I'm like, wow, Sasuke's being a real dick to everybody. But then when I read it again, it makes so much more sense because Kakashi doesn't have his Sharingan eyes anymore. No. And Sasuke's the only one with the ability to sort of like tell like where Madara and his freaky clones are, like sense them and see them. And even Sakura, she tries to help, but Sasuke's like, no, you're useless right now, Sakura. And she's all like, Sasuke-kun. And when you think about it in that situation, this is end of the world type stuff. We don't have time for any of that type of bullshit. And even Kakashi's like, no, if there's anyone that needs to be in charge, it's Sasuke right now. And I think that's really interesting. They need to let a lot of that bullshit go Naruto. And he goes into this plan where apparently the Eye of the Moon has like a time lapse where it
it only like spits out beams for like 20 minutes and then everyone gets caught in it and then all of a sudden it goes away. And we both thought that was kind of I don't want to say a cop out, but kind of like, wait, shouldn't that thing just be blasting all the time now? It's cast. But apparently, for plot convenience, it has to go away.
And I guess that just sort of shows that the Infinite Tsukuyomi, how it works. Like, it lets out the light. If you get caught by it, you're just instantly caught by it no matter what. And even when the light goes away, you're still in the freaky dream world. So, let's go back to the dream world, though, for a second. What was your favorite dream this week?
I'd say it's Gaara's because it was the most touching. I think that's both of our favorite.
Yes, they definitely focused on that one the most.
Yeah, his is definitely the most touching. And it's like him as a kid with his dad, and then Naruto comes and visits, and they all like go in the playground and they make sandcastles and bullshit. But to me, I actually think that these dreams are bullshit. Obviously, they're bullshit.
Oh yeah, they're definitely bullshit.
But the main point is that these characters have developed and become as strong as they are because of the hardship they've had to go through. So if they actually had those lives, they wouldn't be as great. They wouldn't be the leaders they are.
They wouldn't be as rich or developed characters as they already are.
Yeah, it's like yeah, that would be great, but these characters have struggled, and that's what made them so great, and also what's entertained us all this time.
I will say this: I liked seeing Shino ride on his really like nasty, nightmarish bug.
That was cool.
That looked really awesome. I like the fact that Tenten's dream is pretty much just everybody's still alive. Except she just imagines that Guy and Rock Lee are not as awkward as they usually are. I just thought that was kind of clever. And yeah, they just sort of focused on a lot of the different teams, and they skipped around a few characters, but otherwise it was all there, and like you said, my favorite was definitely Gaara's too. It was the one moment of the chapter where I was reading them, and I was like, okay, this is kind of making me a little upset a little bit. But still, I loved this chapter. I like the little twist that they're throwing in at the end. Madara totally just got Shyamalan'd by Black Zetsu. Wow. And I loved the artwork right there. That was definitely the best part of this week's chapter, and I just cannot wait to see what's going to happen next. For me, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
I say 8 out of 10. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just I thought that they used a lot of time. It's like 2/3 of this chapter was showing the dream world, and I was kind of like, oh, I'll get back to Madara, but that's just me.
It was inevitable. We were definitely going to be shown the dream world, but at least they're going through it really quick, and it looks like we're going to go back to action next week, or maybe even another big plot twist. Or since Kaguya is involved, maybe we're just going to get a big old flashback arc.
Yeah, that's probably...
As long as it's interesting. Because we still need to know what the whole deal with Kaguya is. Like, why does she have such a big chip on her shoulder?
Why does she hate humanity? Wasn't she human too? She just ate the fruit and then she became super powerful. Why does she hate people? Anyway, and then the other thing is, just to expand on that just a touch, all the people are working together. That was the main point. She was trying to stop war and people killing each other and stuff, but like everyone's working together right now.
Yeah, it's almost like the Ten Tails in a way has like corrupted her.
Yes.
In a sense.
That may have been what happened. I think there's obviously more to that character. But the other thing we have talked about in the past, maybe off camera, was that this villain almost seems shoehorned in at the end. Like they built Madara up the whole time and then they just shove in a more powerful character at the very end. And I don't know. In a way, if it's done right, I probably won't care. But if it's done wrong, they should have just stuck with Madara.
I mean, I'm used to it at this point. Like I said, it reminds me of the Final Fantasy games. It reminds me of almost every single Legend of Zelda game where they build up this badass villain. You're about to fight them, and guess what? Ganondorf just walks out, and he's like, hey, I'm the real villain, bitches! So I'm not too surprised. At least Kaguya seems like she's going to be an interesting character. And if anything, I love her old school design. I just don't know how that's going to come through with Black Zetsu and the fact that he's trying to take over Madara's body. Who knows what we're going to see next week? All I can say is I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, give them a thumbs up. We really appreciate that. Or subscribe to the channel. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and if you want, you can even donate to the channel with our PayPal link below. We also went to MomoCon last week.
Yes,
right, Corey?
It was very exciting.
Awesome. Corey got to meet Doug Walker. Actually, we both did. We got stuff signed by him. Look at this. Look at this.
We got autographs, ladies and gentlemen.
So he's in the video, actually. We did a little skit with him at the beginning. It's awesome. So please go check out our MomoCon video. And then Soul Eater Not, Corey, you want to talk about that?
Soul Eater Not, yes. You guys need to check out this series if you're fans of the original Soul Eater series. It's pretty fun if you want a little more insight and you want to see some cameos from some older characters, seeing what they were doing in the past. And it's actually getting pretty dark right now. So make sure and check that out if you're into Soul Eater.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, Super Kamiguru 9000 out.